Welcome to the session on what is metadata and why it's critical in research. Whether you're handling complex datasets or preparing your data for sharing, understanding metadata is key to responsible, reproducible, and high-impact research. Metadata is often described as data about data, but it's much more than that. It provides structured context to your dataset, explaining who created the data, what it represents, when and how it was collected, and why it was produced. In short, metadata makes your data meaningful, both to yourself and to others. There are several important types of metadata. Descriptive metadata includes elements like the title, creator, and keywords, helpful for identifying and locating data. Structural metadata shows how data is organized, such as the relationships between files. Administrative metadata covers licensing, access rights, and technical properties. And provenance metadata traces the history of the data, when and how it was altered or updated. These different types together ensure your data can be used and understood correctly. In research practice, metadata is everywhere. For example, in a survey dataset, metadata includes the sampling method, questionnaire structure, and demographic breakdown. In a lab setting, metadata may include device calibration details, software versions, and experiment conditions. And for image data, metadata might cover resolution, file type, and geolocation. All of this is crucial to interpreting and reusing the data properly. Metadata is essential for transparency and reproducibility. Without it, your data may be hard to interpret, even by you a few months later. It allows others to understand how the data was collected, processed, and how it can be reused. Good metadata increases the credibility and visibility of your research and helps fulfill open science and funding requirements. Metadata plays a central role in achieving the fair data principles. To be findable, your data needs identifiers and searchable metadata. To be accessible, it must be stored in formats and systems that others can access. For interoperability, metadata should use standard vocabularies and formats. And to be reusable, metadata must fully describe the context, quality, and conditions for reuse. In many ways, FAIR starts with metadata. In practical terms, metadata can be embedded in your dataset, for example, in column headers or a README file. It can also be stored in external documentation, like a data dictionary or codebook. When submitting data to a repository, you'll typically be asked to fill out a metadata form. And of course, your data management plan should also describe your metadata approach clearly. There are many tools that support metadata creation. For example, DDI is commonly used in the social sciences, while MIAM is a standard for microarray data. Dublin Core is a general-purpose schema, and DataCite is used for assigning DOIs to datasets. Platforms like Zenodo, Figshare, and institutional repositories provide guided interfaces to input your metadata correctly and in standard formats. A few common mistakes can undermine your metadata. One is using unclear or inconsistent terms like labeling a variable simply as score without explaining what it means. Another is failing to update metadata when changes are made to the dataset. And finally, not using recognized standards can make your data less interoperable and harder to reuse. A bit of extra effort here goes a long way. Metadata can sometimes unintentionally include personal or sensitive information, especially when working with human subjects. Be cautious about including participant names, locations, or indirect identifiers. Always ensure metadata complies with data protection regulations such as GDPR. If your metadata includes sensitive context, consider anonymization or limiting public exposure. To summarize, metadata is not just a technical detail, it's a cornerstone of good research practice. It enables collaboration, ensures long-term usability of your data, and supports compliance with funder and publisher expectations. Good metadata makes your work more discoverable, more trusted, and ultimately more impactful. Thank you for watching. If this video helped clarify the importance of metadata in research, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment if you have questions or topics you'd like to see next. Let's keep making data smarter, more ethical, and more open.